Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to set up hotkeys in Age of Empires 2, and this is going to be a guide for new players who are coming in and don't really know where to start because let's be honest, hotkeys can be extremely overwhelming. We're going to start at the absolute basics here, and at the end of the video I'll also be showing my hotkeys, so for those who are curious how I play, you can take a look at it, you can take some ideas from it, but I don't suggest you copy it, not because I care, like you can copy, I don't mind, but it's just these hotkeys work for me and I don't think they're particularly great. I just like them for how I play the game, but it's not something I can say copy them and you'll play like me. It's everyone has their own style for sure. So starting off at the very beginning, what are hotkeys? So hotkeys are simply a way to do actions in the game without using your mouse for everything. So for example, if you wanted to build a house, you would have to click a villager, then you have to click the build button with your mouse, then you have to click a house, and then you'd have to drag your mouse and make the house. That is a pretty tedious process, and hotkeys helps you speed that up. Hotkeys can help you select the villager with the mouse, then click the build button on the keyboard, then click the make house button, and then right away with your mouse still kind of where you want the house, you left click and make the house. Since you're using two hands, one on the mouse and one on the keyboard, and your mouse doesn't have to move back and forth to, click different things and then place the house, you can place buildings much quicker this way. The whole idea is to have your mouse hand and your keyboard hand working in synchronization to speed up your game. Hotkeys are also useful not just for building stuff, but also for making units, making villagers. You can even queue up text with hotkeys these days, and so there's really a lot of things that hotkeys can do, and they are basically a way to speed up your game. So now that we know what they are, let's talk about why they're even useful in the first place. We talked about how they help speed up your game, but it's actually more than that. The hotkeys are there not just to help you play faster, but they're there to free up your mouse hand. So your mouse hand can do the things that only the mouse hand can do, like scrolling, selecting units, moving around, and microing, like hitting and running and that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff can only be done with your mouse. So if your mouse is doing that, and then you also want to create buildings and create units with your mouse hand is doing way too much, and we only have two hands, so we gotta use them correctly. So we'll use the mouse hand to do what the mouse hand needs to do, and then we'll use the keyboard hand to do as many things as possible to ease up the mouse hand, if that makes any sense. So by using hotkeys, we're going to be playing a lot more efficiently, and it's going to seem like you're playing faster, and which it is. Over time, you will be playing faster by using these hotkeys, and your mouse hand and your keyboard hand will each have their own responsibilities, and once you get good enough, you'll be doing everything all at the same time. Now let's talk about the important thing of how to set these hotkeys up. You basically want to set them up at the hotkey section in the game settings, but it's a little bit complicated because there's a lot of settings, there's a lot of hotkeys, and it's extremely overwhelming to know how to set them up. So my recommendation is that you set them up one at a time. That is the best and most practical tip anyone can get you. So you start off by having a basic hotkey setup, and you start by learning one hotkey at a time. For example, let's learn the most useful hotkey first. This is how I started. I learned the how to make a farm hotkey, because let's be honest, making a town center or a castle with your mouse, that's no problem. I mean, you make like 5 castles, max 5 town centers a game, something like that, but we can make like 100 farms a game, and that is very tedious to click build, farm, then place it with your mouse. That can get really tiring. So setting up a hotkey for the farm is a really good choice. To do this, of course, you need to set up a hotkey for your build function as well. So for example, I use the B to let the villager know that I'm building something. So I click B and then I click F to make the farm. So I just take a villager, BF, boom, drop the farm down, and it's perfect. By learning how to make farms first, we're learning hotkeys at a very basic level, and we're starting with the most useful one because we make so many farms. Another one to start out with is the house hotkey, because houses like farms, we need a lot of them throughout the game. And then also start by getting a hotkey to make villagers and to make basic units like knights, archers, scouts, militia, spearmen, just a few hotkeys for those. And a pro tip, you can actually layer your hotkeys. So for example, if your knight hotkey is A, then you go to your archer range, it's not like you can't use A again, because the hotkey to make the knight in the stable is only when you're in the stable. So if you're in a range, you can use A to make the archer. And so what a lot of people end up doing is they use what is called a grid trick, or layering, which is basically using multiple hotkeys on the same keyboard key. So A will be their first main unit. So A is knight, A is archer, A is militia from the barracks, A is a mangonel from the siege workshop, and A can even be villager. So you use one hotkey or one keyboard key to do multiple things in different areas. There's a lot you can do with layering hotkeys, and it's really difficult to see just how much potential this has. So my best advice is to create a small system where you have, similar to the military production, the same keys are making the same kind of unit. So example, spearman and skirm can be on the same key because they're both the secondary unit in the archer range and in the barracks. This makes sense. This is easy for us to remember, and this is a good system. And also, by using only one key on the keyboard, we're spreading out our hotkeys in a way that's efficient. If we use like 10 buttons on our keyboard just to make units, imagine what the rest of our game will look like. We'll be clicking buttons that are really hard to reach, like P, O, and L, to do essential things in the game, which is not good at all. You want your hotkeys to be easy to reach, easy to use, because at the end of the day, they're here to help us play the game better, faster, and in a more enjoyable way. A general trick with hotkeys is that if your hotkey is harder to press than it is to just use your mouse and click the thing, then it's not a good hotkey, okay? Learn this trick. That is a really good rule of thumb, that if your hotkey is just not good enough to where like it's better than just using your mouse, then change it to something else. But remember, only change hotkeys one at a time. Learn the farm hotkey, learn the house hotkey, learn the villager hotkey, and then add in the military, then add in something else. 1, 2, or even 3 hotkeys at a time max. Don't change 50 hotkeys and expect to memorize them all one shot. You'll get overwhelmed, you'll quit, and you'll probably want to cry, because I've done this before and I didn't cry, but I was close. And I realized the hard way that, hey, I'm not going to remember all of this. I got to do it one at a time. All right, now we're going to go through my hotkeys. So welcome back to the second segment of the video. And I'm going to show you guys what I'm rocking with. And I'll also show you guys a cool tip that I use to help clean up my hotkey setup. This is something I've been working on, this hotkey setup, for like years and years, and I work on it very slowly. It's not going to look like this right away. And I use a completely custom setup, but I got to this custom setup by changing one at a time. And you can fix your hotkeys within like 2-3 months by doing this. It doesn't take years. I just been playing for years and years. So I naturally improve them as time goes on. This is my current setup. So I'll go through them one at a time, and I'll comment on some unique ones. So I'll scroll through them so you guys can see. Also, the ones that I don't use, I intentionally clear it, okay? So when I don't use any hotkey, I intentionally clear it so I don't ever misclick it. Like, for example, I never use this one, more items, so I'm gonna actually clear that right now. And that way, I don't have to even worry about it, and I never misclick it. You should use that. I'll scroll through here. This is for the unit commands. So as you can see, economic buildings is B, and military buildings is D. So I have 2 different sections to make buildings. All right, there you go. Should probably get an unpack command. All right, game. This is not too important at first. Flare hotkey is useful. Everything else, not so much. All right. These are pretty important though. Select all. I don't use the select all ranges, barracks, and stuff. I use control groups instead on my production buildings. But if you're a new player, I highly recommend these hotkeys. They are really good. The control groups have some application that are helpful. Like, for example, if I have 3 stables behind my opponent's base, I don't want to produce from those just yet. I can control group the ones in my base and leave those out. If you use the select all stables, you don't have that luxury. But that's a very small thing that only is useful in like certain cases. So for the most part, select all buildings is really good. Ones I highly recommend: select all idle military units. Select all, lumber camp and stuff just to get upgrades. Select all town centers is probably the best hotkey in the game. Definitely get that one because it keeps your town center flowing. You get to create fields like very easily. So select all town center. For me, it's Control S. When I make villagers, E. So I just Control S, E. I make fields like on every town center. It's insane. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Feel free to pause and copy if you guys want to, or take some inspiration maybe. This is really weird, but my cycle commands are by arrow keys. I basically take my mouse hand off my mouse, and I hit the left arrow key. Then I spam units from my archer range. This is not good. This is old because in the past we didn't have multi-queue, so you had to spam between your ranges and your stables to create units. But that is an outdated setup. I still use it sometimes, but I barely use these hotkeys now. This is good. Space is nice on this one. This is really important. Go to next Idleville. This is okay, but I don't use it. Go to town center is also important. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. Next, group commands. I use Alt instead of Control for my control groups. It's easier for me to click. You can do that if you want. Just change Control to Alt, and pretty much it. Yeah, I don't use these, so I just take them off. Scroll commands. I used to use these actually. It used to be AWSD when I first started. I got to a really high level with them. And the reason I use these is because I had a really small screen. I had a really bad setup. I was like 13, no monies. So I had bad setup, and I had to use these to compete with the people who had better setup. And I had to move my screen faster to keep up and see more things in micro against them. So this was helpful, but it's outdated for me now. I don't use them anymore. These are not important. Spectator commands. Military, you can take some inspiration here. I use aggressive and stand ground as the only two formations or two attack stances on my mouse. So I can switch between them very fast. This is also on my mouse staggered. So my mouse is for military, but I also use some other hotkeys. I don't use the convert ones. I'm going to clear it. Then I'm going through them myself here. I don't use the guard or follow command. You could if you want to. If you don't know what any of these do, by the way, try to ask around like my Discord, ask in the comments below. People will help you out. They'll give you answers on the specific questions. And even me, if you catch me live streaming on Twitch, I'll definitely answer your question whenever. I actually love doing that. Zoom commands, not the most important, but get one. Gate commands. I often get asked how to rotate gates. People don't know about this, so it's here. Gate command. Probably should get one for locking and unlocking the gate, actually. That would be pretty useful. I'll think of one for now. I'll make it... I don't want to do it with my mouse because I already have these on my mouse. Actually, no. I could make it like... this, probably. I'll just make it a mouse button for now, whatever. Alright. But yeah, that's where you rotate gates. Villager build. I'll go through it fast. Nothing crazy. And make the gate with this button too, so maybe I have to change the other one. Yeah, again, not the best hotkeys, but basically I make my military buildings near D, because that's how I create military buildings. And I make my economy buildings near B, because that's where I make the economy buildings. There's better setups though, I'm sure. Some techs I get every game. I always age up, so I've made that a tech. This is useless. Probably shouldn't use that. Yeah, so I have some techs here. Doc. A lot of the techs I don't have. Not yet. Maybe eventually I'll start playing with those when I get a little bit better as a player. But for now, not doing that. But I definitely should pay attention to this. It's my bad. Barrack, same thing. I have like the general techs. I have them on ASD. So again, I'm using the same ones from the town center. I'm using them here too. So I have a system. Also, like all my production there's a system like E is my main unit, or like one unit, R and T. Those are my 3 units. So you see ERT here, then you see ERT, and you see ERT. So as you can see, I'm using the system that I talked about earlier. Text on husbandry and bloodlines, but nothing else. This I'm gonna take off. I don't use that. Yeah. Actually, I just changed them to knights. It's the same. Yeah. You can't have knight and Shalata warriors. That's good. Also, sometimes it gives you like a bad thing, like warning it clashes, but it doesn't actually clash because this is like only Aztecs can make this unit. Aztecs don't have knight, they don't have Shawamsha Rider, so it doesn't clash, you see. So ignore that. If you know it doesn't clash, ignore it. And then Siege Workshop. Again, E-R-T. And if I have extra ones, I just use like V or whatever, C. But yeah, those are my hotkeys. Oh, we go more, sorry, I thought it was done. E-R-T, market, E, nothing. You could use hotkeys for this, but I'm not used to it. All right, ERT. Nothing here. Nothing there. You could do it if you want to. Nothing here. I misclicked. When I tried putting text here, I misclicked them too much. I didn't want to. Same thing here. And yeah, pretty much it. Also, these I should not clear. I don't use those. All right. That's gonna be it for my hotkeys. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions about anything, ask in the comments. Join my Discord, ask there. Catch me on live stream and ask me there. I'd love to help you guys out. The community is great. They'll help you guys out. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy Age of Empires 2 as much as I do, and I'll see you around. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Peace.